First of all, it was a warm community of people, happy people. People seem to be, everybody had their problems, whatever. But it was a group of happy people that had seemed to me, from what I've heard and so forth, had worked, had saved, and were able to buy a home, and they had made it, able to buy a house, and they had made it a home, and they were content with their home there, with their families. The kids were, it was blooming. St. Andrew was a blessing to the West End. It was a blessing. The kids would just go up there and just have a ball together. And so this is what was happening then. And what the people were complaining about, they were breaking that up.
The neighborhood that I grew up in, the community that I grew up in, doesn't exist anymore. There's not a trace of it. They came in and they bulldozed over 250 buildings and houses.
My grandparents was here in Beacon, and my mother would come down and get me and my younger brother. I'm the oldest girl, there's 4 of us. She would come down and get my younger brother, her or my grandfather, and bring us to Beacon. And that's how I got to meet Reverend Cooper, because my grandmother went to that church. So when the coal mines closed down, my parents moved up here to Beacon.
I started walking up Berry Street, and there were houses that I was used to, North Carolina house. And there were kids playing in the yards, and there were people sitting on the porches. So right then and there, Beacon got my heart right then.
Everybody I knew was Black. I didn't even know any white people who lived there. Like in school, everything was mixed. That was different. But the community, and it included everyone, lower income, middle income, upper middle income. I don't think we even had any beyond upper middle, but we had all the incomes, all the class economic strata we all lived together.
I would say it's very, at the time, the West End, growing up in the West End, very tight-knit community. We had a couple of restaurants, Lewis's Sandwich Shop, Ike's Corner Store, so if you need provisions, they were readily available to us. At the time, I think we had an A&P, a supermarket in Beacon. That was up Main Street. But we were able to, whatever you needed, we were able to get, as far as, provisions for the home.
Beekman Street was nothing but apartment homes. Apartment houses all the way from the corner where that light is, starting on part of 9D from Main Street. Okay, right to the left there, that corner was Beekman Street, and it ran all the way down to the river.
And I could go on the balcony from my bedroom and look at the Hudson River, see boats and barges and all kinds of activity on the river. And I really felt blessed because I said, wow, we have this. And most of the people in Beacon didn't have that. And they weren't so close to the transportation going to the city, like the train station. So I felt very connected to the city, and not just Beacon. You see it, we could just walk down, hop on that train, and then we go down to 125th Street for our hair salon appointments. It was really very nice.
My grandmother had a 14-room house, and the land ran from River Street all the way up to Beekman Street. And she had a gazebo on the property. She had all kind of fruit trees, a great old big barn.
South Avenue was like a line of demarcation, if you will. You didn't go, say, east of South Avenue. That's where most of the white people lived. And then on the west side was the black community. And I mean, you could walk there, but no one lived there at the time. Not until after urban renewal. Urban renewal came in and started displacing people.
It was a really sad program that happened then. We knew it was coming like from, oh my God, I'd say 1968. They kept telling us that this was the plan, and the house that I lived in would be torn down. It was a beautiful house. Couldn't figure out why tearing this house down and tearing all these nice houses down. What's the point? But they wanted 9D. They just wanted to build this road right through the middle of the West End, and I could see the way how some houses were allowed to stay and other houses had to be torn down.
Some of the houses that were torn down were beautiful homes and good shape, good condition, everything, and they could not find a house equal to the one they had. Well, first of all, they didn't want to leave the community. It was a thing. It was like a community thing, like your neighbor next door, and all this, and they just felt comfortable. But to leave that comfort zone and go over on the east side or north side or wherever, and your house sitting here and you don't know the people around you. And at that time, a lot of us wasn't welcome in neighborhoods. We couldn't get a house in certain neighborhoods then. And so that was what was going on at that time.
My mother moved in 1972, and she was fortunate enough to be able to buy a house in the Mount Beacon Park. But other people, and then a number of families did also. They moved, black families moved to Mount Beacon Park, and they of course, when you have black people coming to these neighborhoods they never were in before, there was racism. That area of town was not integrated, or very, very little integration before that time.
And whenever renewal come through, they gave us $500 for, I think it was $100 for each room that we occupied. So we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We occupied 5 rooms. And they gave me $500. And they said, if you buy a one-family house, we'll give you $4,000. If you bought a 2-family house or a multi-family house, we'll give you $2,000. All you have to do is match what we give you. So we put $8,000 down on this house. We borrowed $2,000 for the closing. Next thing you know, we were in the house.
Some people stayed in Beacon, some went to Fishkill, some went to Wappinger, some went back down south to their roots, where their family roots are.
What was lost when Urban Renewal finished with it? Mm-hmm. The fellowship, the communication, what else can I say? And when I say the fellowship, we didn't see each other as much as we did. Once everybody moved, everybody was in their own place, and they were just in their own place. Wherein before then, you could walk out your door and there was somebody all the way, So that's what I mean for is the fellowship, the closeness, just the feeling, just the comfort of knowing that my neighbor's next door. I can knock on her door and I know she'll be here. You know. So it did a lot to us. It did a lot in dividing people. It did a lot in dividing people up, you know.
Black people used to have restaurants. They used to have stores, you know, and they don't have any of that anymore. You know, I think, what is it, one restaurant? I think there's a barbershop on Main Street. You know, no black beauty shops that I know of in Beacon. It's hurtful because you took people's livelihood, you know, and then to build what?